Senator Hunt.
Present.
Senator Kilday.
Here.
Senator Lipscomb.
Here.
Senator Lemieux.
Here.
Senator Lucier. Here. Senator McCarthy. Here. Senator McCunis.
Here.
Senator Miller.
Here.
Senator Morrison.
Here.
Senator Piacenza.
Here.
Senator Raymond.
Here.
Senator Scorpa.
Present.
Senator Shamorad.
Here.
Senator Silver.
Here.
Senator Stearns.
Here.
Senator Thurston.
Here.
Senator Weiner. Chairperson Amaya.
Here.
Chairperson Cloutier.
Here.
Chairperson Greenwood.
Here.
Chairperson Perrault. Secretary Bronson.
Here.
Here. Vice President Souza. President Coffin.
President. All right, we have a lot to get through, so I'm not going to waste any time, but happy rollover meeting, everyone. First, for the acceptance of the minutes, at this time, I make the motion to accept the minutes from the 3/25/2025 meeting.
Second.
Hearing a second, are there any additions, deletions, or revisions? Seeing none, I will move for a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. Next, moving into new and existing business, we're going to start with the executive stipend approval. At this time, I move for the Student Senate to approve prorated stipends for the Senate's appointed positions, including the legislative chairperson currently serving Blanca Amaya, Treasurer and Finance Committee Chairperson Noel Perrault, Campus Relations Chairperson Jessica Cloutier, Public Relations Chairperson Catherine Greenwood, Secretary of the Senate Dominic Langello, and our liaison and for academic secretary Haley Bronson. Should the Senate ratify this motion, I, as president of the Senate and an unpaid executive board member, shall serve as a liaison of this body in negotiating the exact stipend amount and prorated amount for each position with the Office of Student Life, representatives being Director Grimm, Dean of Students Caitlin Bevins, and Vice President of Student Life and Enrollment Management Greg Matthews, which, as per the rules of this body, must approve all student leadership stipends. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second.
I'm going to open the floor for questions. Are there any questions about that or what exactly that means? Okay. Just historically, executives without a voting right have always been paid a stipend. This year, we upped the amount that they're typically paid because of a lot of different factors. We are negotiating kind of behind the scenes how exactly that's going to be paid out, mainly because of budget, and then also because I'm trying to get them paid more for the work that they do. I know a lot of them put in 30 to 40 hour weeks. I know Treasurer Perrault has put in many 50-hour weeks just looking at budgets. So they deserve just compensation. I have proposed they're all entitled, if they serve a full term, exactly a maximum of $1,000. The next thing on this agenda is to suspend that rule so I can negotiate for higher. That is more in line with other student leadership stipended positions at other colleges and universities. It's typically 1,000 or higher, or if it's like less work, it's a little lower. But for the work that they do, I want to get them a little bit more. I have proposed 3 options to Student Life as of right now for their payments. I will put in the group me which ones, or I will put in a group me a poll for you guys to vote which one you think is the most fair to both help me when I negotiate this going forward and for next term's executive stipend payout. So the first request, the total amount, should they serve 100% of the term, is $10,800. The Treasurer and Finance Committee Chairperson would be paid out $2,000 for 100% of the term served. Public Relations Chairperson, $2,000. Legislative, $1,800. Campus Relations, $1,800. Secretary, $1,600. Academic Secretary, $1,600. Or Secretary of Academic Affairs and Secretary of the Senate for next term. Request 2 is within the $6,000 right now that has kind of been set aside for the paid executives. Based on prorated amount, it would be 6,000, but total would be 6,800. It would be Treasurer and Finance Committee Chairperson 2,000, Public Relations Chairperson 1,200, Legislative Chairperson 1,000, Campus Relations Chairperson 1,000, Secretary of the Senate 800, Secretary of Academic Affairs 800. That's within the 6,000 that we already had approved going into this term for all of them. Request 3 is just 6,000. 12 is be 1,200 for Treasurer, 1,200 for Public Relations, 1,000 for Legislative, 1,000 for Campus Relations, 800 for Secretary, and 800 for Academic Secretary. Are there any questions about those amounts? Okay. Again, I will post a poll in the group meet, just to help me base my decisions and how exactly I will negotiate that going forward. But I will move for a voice vote on this. Again, if you vote yes, you are approving me to act as a liaison and a negotiator on behalf of the executives in terms of their stipend payout. If you vote no, then you are rejecting that. So voice vote, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Aye. Motion passes. All right, next I make the motion to suspend Rule 2, Section 8 of the Student Senate Rules package.
Second.
That is suspending the rule that says minimum $100, maximum $1,000. Are there any questions about that? Okay. We'll go for a voice vote on that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. Next, we will do the certification of the 2025-2026 Student Senate term spring elections. So, as of yesterday, our Vice President Election Committee Chairperson, Gayla Souza, formally shared the official results of the 2025 Spring Senate elections with myself and Director Grimm. As President of our Student Senate, I am responsible for overseeing the certification of the results of the recent student government elections. After reviewing the outcomes, I am pleased to formally announce and motion to certify the elected representatives for the upcoming term. I will begin by recognizing the elected officers for the class councils. The class of 2028 has elected the following individuals to serve as their class officers: President Brianna Thurston, Vice President Skylar Welch, Secretary Omar Atwa, Treasurer Kaylin Abid. The class of 2027 has elected the following individuals to serve as their class officers: President Emily Day, Vice President Ella Flanders, Secretary Samantha Brady, Treasurer Joshua Goodman. The class of 2026 has elected the following individuals to serve as their class officers: President Timothy Anson, Vice President Michael McCarthy. The Secretary and Treasurer positions for the class of 2026 are currently vacant. The President of the class of 2026, with the advice and consent of the active membership of their class council, shall have the authority to appoint individuals from the class of 2026 to fill these vacancies after the Student Senate transitions meeting. Should they fail to do so by the fall 2025 elections, these positions will be on the ballot. Now, we will recognize and certify the elected members of the Student Senate. Athletics and Recreation. The following individuals have been elected to represent the members of the Athletics and Recreation constituency: Kelsey Bouchard, Joshua Farrell, and Linda Holman. A vacancy remains for one Athletics and Recreation seat. This will be the only athletic seat open in the upcoming fall election. For commuters, unfortunately, no individuals were elected to serve as commuter representatives. All 6 seats remain vacant and will be open for the upcoming fall election. This constituency will remain vacant for the time being. Residents. The Western New England students from the resident constituency have elected the following individual to serve and represent them for the 2025-2026 term: Timothy Amsden, Brett Lucier, Brandon Mello, Hiru Grazi, and Genesis Daniels. A vacancy remains for one residency. This will be the only residency open in the upcoming fall 2025 election. Class reps. The class of 2026 representatives. Unfortunately, no individuals were elected to serve as the class of 2026 representatives. Both class of 2026 seats remain vacant and will be open for the upcoming fall election. This constituency will remain vacant for the time being. Class of 2027. The Western New England students from the class of 2027 constituency have elected the following student to represent them for the 2025-2026 term. Rebecca Kilday. One seat from the constituency representing the class of 2027 is vacant and will remain open for the upcoming fall election. Class of 2028 representatives. The Western New England students from the class of 2028 constituency have elected the following individuals to serve and represent them for the 2025-2026 term. Emma Stearns and Laura Oros. There will be no open class of 2028 seats in the upcoming fall elections at this time. Congratulations to the class of 2028. Your constituency is fully staffed. College of Arts and Sciences. The Western New England students from the College of Arts and Sciences constituency has elected the following individuals to serve and represent them for the 2025-2026 term. Alina Shimura Bahangalo, Brianna Thurston, Skylar Welch, William Kieran, and Samantha Buller. A vacancy remains for one College of Arts and Sciences seat, which will be the only College of Arts and Sciences seat open in the upcoming fall elections. College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. The Western New England students from the College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences constituency have elected the following individuals to serve and represent them for the 2025-2026 term. Gwendolyn Scorpa and Victoria Mazzaferro. No vacancies exist in the College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. This constituency is also fully staffed. Congratulations. College of Business. The Western New England students from the College of Business constituency have elected the following individuals to serve and represent them for the 2025-2026 term. Kaylee Goddick and Maya Lipscomb. A vacancy remains for one College of Business seat. This will be the only open seat for the College of Business in the upcoming fall election. College of Engineering. The Western New England students from the College of Engineering constituency have elected the following individuals to serve and represent them for the 2025-2026 term. Jillian Silver, Megan Lemieux, and Alini Campos. No vacancies exist in the College of Engineering constituency. This constituency is fully staffed for the 2025-2026 term. Congratulations. Senators at Large. The undergraduate student body at large has elected the following individuals to represent them in the 2025-2026 term. Emma Walschmeider and Natalia Miller. A vacancy remains for two senator at-large seats. These two seats will be the only two at-large seats open in the upcoming fall election. Next, for Vice President of the Student Senate, the undergraduate student body has elected Jessica Cloutier to serve as the next term Student Senate Vice President. Last, but certainly not least, for President, the undergraduate student body has elected Camden Kaufman to serve as the next Student Senate President for the 2025-2026 term. At this time, I move to certify the 2025-2026 Senate term elections for the spring 2025 elections, as I just read aloud.
Second.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments or objections? Okay, seeing none, we will do a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? The motion passes. Next, we will move into visitors' comments. Are there any visitors' comments at this time? Senator Bissonnette has a comment.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
At this time, I make the motion that the Student Senate reclaims $3,803.84 from GSA.
Second.
So this is just because for the full year, they were allocated $7,565. In the fall, they spent $45.98. And in the spring, they wanted $200 for their general expenses, and the remainder, which was about $7,000, was to be put towards drag show. After a very successful event, that totaled $3,515.18. leaving the remainder to be reclaimed of $3,803.84.
All right. Are there any questions or comments about that? Okay, seeing none, I will put it to a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Those abstaining? No abstentions, the motion passes. Okay, next for actual visitors' comments, are there any visitors' comments? Seeing none. Rollover reports, starting with the executive reports. Both Treasurer Peralt and Vice President Souza could not be here today. There will be a finalized version of rollover reports posted in the Kodiak for all of you to view before we officially certify it at the transitions meeting. Their reports will be in there. So please look over them. I will briefly mention a couple things from both of them, but their full reports will be in there. So I'm going to start with the President rollover report. I wrote a letter that will go at the front of the rollover report. It's not part of my report. If you guys would like to read it, I can pass this around, but it will also just be in the finalized version. So the executive ones are a little bit different. The rollover report is mainly to go over what you guys have accomplished. You guys will have a lot longer sections typically compared to the execs. But for the recap and accomplishments for the President's rollover report, I started by saying I oversaw the invitation of key campus figures, including but not limited to the following: Senior Vice President of Enrollment Management, Greg Matthews; Assistant Director and Project Coordinator, Leah Cunha; Dean Dickey, who's the Vice President of Board Advancement; Lisa Slosky, Interim Provost; Melissa Knott, President of the Faculty Senate; Michael Ritchie, Chief Information Officer of the University; Deans John Pizzuto, Marcus Davis, Shereen Walker; Dean of Students, Caitlin Bevins; Director of Athletics and Recreation, Jennifer Collins; Director of Student Outreach and Support, Amanda Charter; Executive Director of the Student Hub, JP; Interim Facilities and Operations Manager, Paul Buchman; Manager of Housekeeping Services, Nick Bono; Digital Media Manager, Mary Kate Ferran; and members of the Faculty Senate Undergraduate Programs Committee, including Professor David Mazer and Professor Wendy Dennis. For actual bulleted accomplishments, advocated for continuation of regular communications from the Division of Student Life as fulfilled by Senior Vice President Gregory Matthews with the bi-weekly campus-wide emails, established the professional activities funding policy, equipping the Office of Student Involvement with resources professionally planned programs to the undergraduate community, successfully filled student senate seats, making this the largest senate in university history, reestablishing the Secretary of Academics position, strengthening communication between Student Senate and the Division of Academic Affairs, expanded Student Senate's public outreach through strategic social media initiatives, increasing visibility and engagement with the help of Chairperson Greenwood, introducing and supported new campus traditions such as Golden Bear Curricular Awards and the Junior Class Semi-Formal, completed several projects and began quote gathering process with Chairperson Cloutier to select capital project investigations, laying the groundwork for informed decision-making on future developments, directed the campus relations chairperson to reinstate monthly awards recognizing outstanding community members and organizations, passed the emergency campus center renovations assistance policy, aiding clubs and transitions from Rivers to the campus center. That was from the last discussion. Oversaw and advocated for the successful completion of the Rivers relocation project, overcoming significant delays from the original timeline. Advocated for the movement of the Office of Student Involvement and Connections in the newly created Student Hub, centralizing offices and improving campus accessibility, partnering with Chairperson Peralt to implement a new allocation structure for clubs and organizations, establishing clear budget ranges by level for more effective financial planning of the Student Senate, collaborating with marketing and external affairs to ensure undergraduate clubs and organizations properly register their social media accounts, enhancing their visibility, accessibility, and archival for better engagement from the student body, formally endorsing the fact that the Senate's Golden Bear Discovery Plan, strengthening the university's general education curriculum to better prepare students for competitive futures, served as an Alston Advisory Committee member, providing a strong voice for undergraduate student body and university decision-making, established the International Student Affairs Special Committee, advocating for addressing the unique needs of international students, oversaw the formal retirement of Bear the Comfort Canine, honoring Bear's invaluable contributions to campus well-being, and then presented the Student Senate President Alvord Award of Excellence to the following members of the Golden Bear community. Former Public Safety Officer Alexandria K. Brizo and former Public Safety Comfort Canine, Greta Comfort Canine. Current projects, Executive Board stipends, Special Events Chair position, student representation and engagement, commuter experience, outbound email access for clubs, Student Senate operations budget, data center advocacy, Golden Bear discovery plans, Student Senate funded capital projects. You can refer to the actual report for more detail on those. Looking ahead, priorities and legacy, I hit home on reserve projects, so you can refer to the rest of the report for that as well. Next, we are going to move to the Vice President's report. Again, I do not have the full report right in front of me, but Vice President Souza's report will recognize senators who won the Senator of the Month award, highlight our advocacy for safety when it came to the cheer and dance team. Her and Secretary Langello are putting together the formal report, so we'll highlight that. And I believe there are one or two other things that she is going to put in that report as well. But again, refer to the actual finalized report for her full report. Finance Committee Chairperson report. Noah's report is very, very expansive. There's no way I could just summarize it in a couple of words. Some key things that you guys should look at that are new that have not been announced yet are the budget level definitions. Starting next term, there will be formalized definitions for the club budget levels for clubs. These definitions have a mandate for the amount of events that those clubs need to do. It is not a mandate for golden hours events. It is just a mandate for events. Doesn't matter what scale they are, just events. These events must be done through the Office of Student Involvement and put on the events calendar. Starter clubs are one event. Level A's are 2 events. Level B's are 4 events, level C's are 6 events, level D's are as determined by the Office of Student Involvement with the advice from the Student Senate and the club themselves. Class councils as constitutionally prescribed, club sports refer to the club sport policy. Are there any questions about that? Because that's something we haven't talked about before, but we'll be rolling into effect next term. Or any thoughts on that? If you guys think that the events are too much for any specific level, yes.
You would have said this already, but for the number of events, is that per semester or per academic?
Per year. We recommend splitting it down the middle, but clubs under specific circumstances might want to do, like if they're a level B, they might want to do 3 in the fall, 1 in the spring. That's up to them. It depends on what fits their needs specifically. And again, don't think too hard on what exactly an event means. It's literally any public thing that the club does for the Western New England campus community that invites members of the community to participate with them. They can partner with other organizations and it can count for an event for both organizations. So 2 counts as 2 for both of them, but just 1 event. So if a level A or a starter club wants to partner with CAP, it counts as an event for both of them. Yeah, so we are going to move on, again, refer to the finalized, or the draft of the finalized rollover report for the rest of Treasurer Pearl's rollover report. Legislative Chairperson, what is yours?
For the legislative committee, first started off with the membership. Ranking member was Senator McKiernan and former Senator Day, before she left. Legislative committee general members have been Senator Lucier, Senator Desai, and former Senator Godek and former Senator Brown. I also then went into the responsibility of the legislative committee for the Senate. However, please refer to the rollover report when it comes out for the complete thing. I'm going to move into recap and accomplishments. The legislative committee's made some notable accomplishments this term. These accomplishments range from club constitutional amendments, establishing and recognizing new clubs, reactivation of previous clubs, and student senate constitutional amendments. The committee sought out 18 recognized clubs whose constitutions were outdated and needed to be revised. 15 of those 18 clubs have revised their constitution by the end of the term. 7 clubs were successfully established and recognized by the Student Senate. 2 clubs with rich Western New England history were reactivated. 3 amendments were recognized by the Student Senate and accepted by the student body to be implemented to the Student Senate Constitution that will assist the Student Senate's function. The establishment and recognition of the following clubs, which is Business Analytics Club, Chess Club, Model United Nations, the Motorsports Club, Pickleball Club, WNE Dueling Club, and the Financial Literacy Club. The reactivation of the Golden Bear Commuter Council and the review of art and literature. Amendments for several clubs. Please look at the roll report for the detailed clubs. The recognition and acceptance of the following amendments: at-large seats and the standardization of seat distribution amendment, clean slate amendment, and academic secretary amendment. Now for moving forward in next projects, as the term comes to an end, it is with much consideration as to what can and must be done for the next term. As we enter the 2025 to 2026 academic semester, there are several clubs that must revise their constitution per the 3-year mandate. These have been noted down. There is also a trend of starter clubs burning out before they can even level up, which alludes to the point that there needs to be extra assistance, whether that be from their advisors or from the student senate. There must be more done by the legislative committee to ensure that the student body feels confident when creating a club and eventually getting it approved. The legislative committee is one of the first groups in the Senate that the student body works directly with regarding club constitution standards and elections. This being said, going forward, the legislative committee and chair will become more available to the student body, and students who are interested in the clubs or organizations recognized by the Senate. And then again, I've listed 11 clubs that require amendments for the upcoming term. Please refer to that at the roll report for the whole list. And then for outreach efforts, and this is now on office hours, regular office hours shall be announced at the beginning of the term and every week going forward. Any students interested in starting a club or have concerns about their current club, may drop by to discuss it in person. Students may also use this time to schedule a meeting with me formally if needed. And collaborations with the public relations chair. The legislative chair shall work with the public relations chair to publicize the student senate sample constitution in the process to create a club so that students can easily find the steps towards recognition. Similarly, the legislative chair will inform the public relations chair of new clubs that have been approved and recognized to give a shout out to newly formed clubs. With this effort, it is the hope that students will become aware of new clubs and join them if they're interested.
Any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, we will move to campus relations.
Okay, my ranking member was Senator Caleb Hunt. My general members were Senator Brianna Thurston, Senator Rich Murad, Senator Wendell Scorpa, Senator Holly Miller, and Senator Baker. A list of my frequent contacts included Paul B. Community Facilities Operations Manager, Nick Delbona, Manager of Housekeeping, Scott Parsons, Chief Financial Officer, Greg Matthews and Bridget Gray, who are our Senate advisors, and I also included Dean Hickey, Vice President for advancement. I included a list of projects that we either worked on or looked for quotes for, as well as their statuses. So the only project that the campus relations committee completed this semester was the club and organization storage lockers. We have finalized quotes for the CCD multifunctional space and the water bottle fillers, which will likely be proposed in the fall when we get approval for capital spending. In addition to those projects, I also included the Student Leadership Garden Revival Project, the Gateway Basketball Court Revival, Bring Students at Home Project, the Campus Center Flooring Replacement, and the Fireway Key Card Access in case any of the next CR chair wanted to pick up where we left off on those. I established a recurring meeting with housekeeping and facilities week to week. As far as initiatives to continue or begin, the Golden Bear Co-Curricular Award Ceremony, which you guys heard a lot about from me, is something to continue working with the Public Relations Committee and the Office of Student Involvement Connections to get that planned out and organized and get nominations out. Also, the club staff and faculty of the month that we do here at Senate is something that I think we should continue. I also included in here that we should alert HR about the faculty member of the month, because that can be included in a file and can help them, just when they're trying to apply for things. I suggested reestablishing student grievance boxes, in places like the dining hall, the library, res halls, even academic buildings. Just because I think a large part of CR that I didn't really get to experience is hearing student grievances and addressing them. And I think that having like advertised boxes that are easily accessible to students would increase that. And then I also suggested having CR take on the mold concerns in the beginning of the year with a mold information video that they could work with ResLife to complete. I included the list that I'm sure you guys have all heard about, like what to, like how to combat like mold related issues and what to do with the mold and all that. So I think that that's a really good idea. I think it's a project to take on. Yeah, that's about it. That's all it's really.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, public relations.
Starting off, my ranking member was Senator Bolio, and then my committee members were Senator Stearns, Senator Gil Martin, Senator Silver, Senator Holman, Senator Lemieux, and then Senator Morrison. And I started this term in the fall rather than spring, so I was thrown in right at the elections of fall semester, which is where I started, which I helped with immediately. We advertised it thoroughly, made sure that went all well. The next event that we played that was thorough was the Stop a Cruiser event, which was originally supposed to be a collaboration with CAB, but due to the snowstorm and all of that, that totally planned, but we ended up doing just the Stop a Cruiser event with Officer Ali Carrizo, Captain Carrizo. We donated over an entire truck's worth of toys and roughly about $80 cash to the Shriners Children's Hospital. We had a limited edition bear trading card, that going on. And then the main thing that I did throughout the entirety of this year was open houses, involvement fairs, any tabling event we did, I was there. My committee members, along with President Kaufman, were there at most of them as well, requiring a half-hour shift for each of my committee members in order to build engagement. Along with that, we also advertised it thoroughly while we were there, going on with that. And then we also participated in the academic success event, in which we created a raffle basket for, and my ranking member, Senator Bolio, and then Senator Morrison ran for me while I was here. And that was a success. It was a blackjack event, and there were giveaways. We are also still currently working. The Instagram isn't done, but also not done, so it's a constant ongoing process. But the main things that I did, again, the username is WNE_Senate. So that is where you can find everything that I've done documented easily. But to go through a couple of the things, we worked with marketing to make sure not only that our Instagram was pushed through the directory, but also making sure that every club's Instagram and accounts were all pushed through the directory. The profile photo was changed so it can represent our updated logo and keep us up to date. Posts and stories are made at least weekly, including our weekly agenda, along with updates. I know we did a lot of dress down events, and all events that we did, we were all covered on this Instagram, along with monthly awards, Senator of the Month, Club of the Month, faculty, staff, all of the awards were all advertised, along with the Albert Award. So we also made holiday posts, and we made some reels. I just want to keep this Instagram constantly updated and going on, so we are documenting every single thing that we do here, making sure we look good and pushing out our outreach. And we've gained quite a number of followers since I took over into this position, and we are only consistently growing. I found that reels getting more traction than posts, along with our stories are increasing, so we will continue to do more reels, all of that. We are also still in the process of executive board takeovers. We have completed all but president and vice president. Vice president will be done this Thursday, and President Kaufman will do his during next week when he is officially the next president for the 2025-2026 term. And then, again, let's see. We have so many holiday posts, break posts, just to constantly keep us updated. We don't want our account to go inactive, which is why I make sure to constantly keep posting. And I work to make sure we are consistently tagging every club that we advertise, along with tagging involvement, the Student Hub, and WNE University, which I would recommend to all of you running Instagrams to majorly push out, because that all gets reposted. The more reposting we do, the more advertisement it gets, the more it gets out there.
You have 30 seconds.
Oh, okay. Ongoing, bulletin board is still a work in process. That will be finished this week. You can go look at it. That will be the way of looking at it. The Golden Bear Curricular Award, which is my main thing, is still a work in process. I know Campus Relations Chairperson Cloutier mentioned this, but the nominations are closed, so we'll be working on that. And we're working on catering. Awards need to be finalized and ordered. Briefings need to be written, and overall, it's just an ongoing thing that we'll be carrying on through the rest of this semester, and it's planned for May 1st.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we will move on to academic secretary.
Yeah, so I spent the majority of the term getting acquainted with processes for academic affairs within the university. As this was a recreated position, I was finding my bearings and kind of where I belong. So for frequent contacts, I worked mainly with Registrar Beck, then previous Provost Maria Toyota, congratulations to her on her new role, and the current interim Provost Lisa Slofsky throughout this semester. We met pretty frequently to talk about upcoming projects and the future direction of the university and how we can bridge the gap between students, faculty, and staff. So for the accomplishments that I was able to bring, President Kaufman and I met with the GUR committee one time to bring more awareness to the Student Senate about what is going on with that. So the GUR, or the Golden Bear Path, and Path of Discovery, it has been approved for this upcoming semester. There are current audits going on in enrollment services with that, so hopefully that'll be rolling out in 2025 for the incoming freshmen. So that was approved back in December by the faculty senate, or the staff senate, after we voted in support of it back in December as well. Something that I was most excited about was the kind of Meet the Dean rotation that was able to happen in the past few weeks. I think we all enjoyed that as well, where all of the deans were, except the dean from the College of Engineering, which hopefully will come next semester or next term. They were able to come and talk about their personal introductions and their career path to where they are to be in admin roles today at campus, and the current developments and future developments for the colleges, which was lovely. And then the majority of what I did was bringing information back to the Senate for the students about the advising and registration process. We were able to complete in the fall 2 registration tables for advising during advising week and priority registration for students. And the glitches have significantly gone down with the help of OIT, as well as the work done by the registrar, which will also be relevant to this upcoming few weeks as advising week is coming up. So make sure to check everything out with that. Make sure you have no holds on your account and things like that. For future direction of what I'd like to do if I'm appointed in this position for next term, I'd like to work our way down in the colleges to inviting specific chairpersons of departments for each of the colleges, because as we saw with the deans, we got general information for the entire college, but as we integrate ourselves with more faculty and staff, it would be great to know all of them and figure out how we as individuals or senators or campus community members can get more involved within these colleges for places that we don't particularly study. And I'd also like to get more involved with the Career Center, figure out how we can bring more people into the Western England community, as well as offer more job opportunities and internships for colleges. We have a lot of traction, with our arts and sciences and engineering, and business, but other colleges such as pharmacy would like to see a little bit more support and internship opportunities and job opportunities offered in the campus. And then the only concern that I have going forward with Provost Toyota leaving, President Kaufman and I spoke to them about the 5-year plan for Western New England University, which every 5 years we come up with new pillars and new core values and projects for the university to keep us moving. We don't want to stay stagnant as a university. So they currently have a committee working through that, getting data analysis and structure. And I'd like to meet with them more frequently to understand where we're going as a university and being able to bring them back to see how we can support them in their endeavors. Yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we will move to special committee reports. Starting with the Committee for Health and Well-Being.
Over the course of since right before winter break, so right in summerish, I've been meeting with Lauren Dansereau, which is one of the executive directors for the Center for Health and Wellbeing, as well as some other directors such as Mary Schaefer and Ryan Berthiaume, as well as some others, over the course about every other week for this past term to overall just encourage discussion to give feedback. I did put a form out for interested committee members, which did not get a very heavy response. So it has just been me meeting with them over the past semester. Again, I met with them every other week. It was mostly consistent of discussion as well as proposed programs and projects to further connect with the campus community. Some of those discussions consisted of specifically identifying how to impact first-year students before they get to campus and familiarizing themselves with the Center for both medical and counseling services, more an introduction at SOAR, an introduction to safety on campus, things like that. Pretty much allowing first-year students to connect with their resources before they get here. In addition to that, maintaining connection and engagement to the rest of campus through, again, programs and activities. Something that I proposed again for the 2025-2026 special committee chair was to overall provide more diverse options in programming, so that way people who have been here for 4 years aren't seeing the same programs that they have over years past. Again, and then just general discussion about current events and issues. We had a large discussion about club and club sport safety, as well as over the winter when we were having issues with ice, putting those issues out there along with what to do for the Center of Health and Wellbeing as well as public safety. Additionally, there was a survey that's been drafted and completed to be released early in next term. There was some apprehension to release that too early due to the center's publishing of their new feedback survey. This survey will be specifically for the chairperson to gather feedback from the student body to present to Senate in order to bring feedback and targeted solutions to the Center of Health and Wellbeing for improvements. For continuing to the 2025-2026 term, I recommend that whoever is appointed as the special committee chair continue to meet at least once a month with the Center for Health and Wellbeing, as well as determining specific projects and goals based on the campus community needs, as well as facilitating similar discussions about staying connected with student involvement and other campus communities, in addition to making suggestions. I don't have any immediate concerns, and I just wanted to extend a formal thank you to Lauren Dansereau and her team for the communication and hard work they've put through to be so accommodating over here.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we will move on. The food committee is chaired by Emily Day, our former Senator Good Day. She's not available on Tuesdays. I do have her report. Refer to the finalized report for most of it, but her frequent contacts were Mark Marson and J.P. Dillon, who's the director and executive chef for Aramark here at our university. They met weekly throughout the term to identify student concerns with the dining hall food on campus and find ways to meet the various student needs, whether it was bringing back specific food options or fixing issues students were having with the food. They made an effort to ensure that all students enjoyed their food experience. She worked with Mark to bring back specific popular items such as breakfast bowls, salmon poke bowls, and even got lids added to the smoothie station. So thank you, Chairperson, thank you for that. Oh, and the ghost kitchen was a success. Again, refer to the finalized report for further details, but that was most of her accomplishments. She has a letter and stuff in there as well for the future chairperson. Are there any questions or comments about that? Okay, seeing none, we will move to Springer then. Where's yours?
Yeah, so before I get into my report, I just want to extend a thank you to President Kaufman, Vice President Souza, and Chairperson Perval for putting me into this position and for also giving me my incredible co-chairs. This has been a really smooth process, thankfully, and it is all because of the team that I have. So thank you to that, and thank you to my other executive board members. The largest thing that we did, or that I did as a spring event chair this year, was work with my e-board to restructure spring event. So hopefully, as you guys have seen, spring event is now, or spring weekend is now a 2-day event. So it consists of a concert on April 25th and then a block party on Saturday, the 26th. Along with that, we collaborated really, or are collaborating really closely with KMF and WNEK, since KMF does fall on the same day as our block party. So that has been a really great experience. They've been really accommodating and really helpful, and we're really looking forward to meshing our two events. We have had bi-weekly e-board meetings in order to plan closely. We also tried out a new format of our release party this year, which I really loved. I thought it was really successful. Thanks to the suggestions of Bridget, our advisor, we did a banner drop release. That was kind of a more casual event, and now we have the banner hanging in the commons, which I think is great for advertisement. Anytime someone walks into the side door of the commons, it's right there, banned in your face, who's playing, when, where, and a QR code to access your tickets. So I think that went over really well. Similarly, we kind of restructured. There was a lot of restructuring this year and trying new things out. So we restructured our e-board a little bit from last year and previous years. We did not have a marketing we did not have a hospitality or special events chairperson, just to kind of try to streamline everything as much as possible. And instead, we have a director of hospitality that falls under our chair of operations and logistics. Again, so far, this has been really successful. Instead of having a special events chair, we had, I have my directors of marketing at Steven take on the release party, which Abby did an incredible job with. It went over really well. Along with restructuring our e-board, this was, as far as I'm aware, the first year that the treasurer of student senate served as the treasurer of the Force Group event. This led to increased communication and transparency with student senate in regards to our spending. So again, I think that was really successful and was a really great idea. It's been a pleasure to work with Chairperson Pearl more closely in doing that. And I definitely think that that's something that should continue forward. This is a little bit more of a personal thing, but we are bringing a new genre to campus that hasn't been seen in a really long time. So that was something that I looked at as the chair, was what have we seen, what have we had a lot of, and what hasn't been to campus in a while. So hopefully that's something that students will enjoy, and we can start to bring a more diverse group of artists onto campus moving forward. I do not have any immediate concerns at this time. Again, this process has been really smooth and really great, thanks to the co-chairs that I have with me and the rest of my executive board team.
Thank you. All right, next, moving into the representative role of reports. But before we do, thank you all for only submitting one report per constituency. We will not have to debate which report is better and which one will be submitted in the formal role of the report. So thank you all for doing that. This is the first time that there was only one report for every single constituency. So thank you all for working together and getting these reports done. Starting with the class of 2025, the floor is yours.
Hello. So I'm going to speak now. So I think the frequent contacts that we had with mainly with Senator Brown was with Bridget Green, as she's the president of Class of 25 Council, which was all the events that were planned, as well as senior portraits, commencement, as well as the big senior week coming up, which I can go right into the projects and events worked on. Commencement will be in the Mass Mutual Center again on May 15th, 10 a.m., right? 10 a.m. And we also gave out the information of how many tickets are going to be given per student, as well as the dates and everything for the transportation. It is all on the website now, so that's good. As well as senior formal being on April 11th, as well as all the different events that Senior Class Council has been working with and basically letting the word out. Another big thing was working closely with Cupola to promote senior portraits and try to get all the seniors to sign up for different senior portraits, and so they can get their pictures added to the yearbook. So I'm trying to make sure I did everything right. Yeah, so then meetings attend. Key terms were usually with class council meetings, which you ran. And as well as Senator Brown has been having weekly meetings with Bridget Grimm to discuss the overall structure for senior week and more. Basically the only concern that we had was the crazy how quick senior formal sold out. But I gotta give my props to the class council on how quick they responded with selling more tickets just with up in the price because of contracts. And then lastly but not least, my kudos. I personally wanted to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude and appreciation to senior class president, also Senator Jackie Brown, and the entire senior class, how hard they've been working this entire year and making sure that everything is being organized and planned really nicely for the entire senior council, or just for the senior class itself, because we've been here for the past 4 years. And last but not least, for unfinished business, due to being the graduate class, there is no unfinished business.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Yes.
Do you know if there's gonna be any extra tickets for sale for graduation after the number of tickets for students is given out?
Right now, what it says on the website is really all I know, unfortunately. It says tickets will be available on a first come, or extra tickets will be available on a first come, first served basis. You do not have to purchase them, they will be free. I don't know the date off the top of my head, but it is, if you just Google like WNE commencement, there's a whole webpage there. I can find the link and put it into the Senate for me, for anyone that is interested. But first come, first served, in enrollment services, you don't have to pay for.
Any other questions? Seeing none. Just so everyone's aware, I'm giving you 3 minutes, and then when the timer goes off, I will give you an additional 30 seconds for your assignment for this event.
All right, so please refer to the written rollover report for my full report, but as an abridged version, I'd just like to give shout outs to outgoing president, secretary, and treasurer of the class of 26, Callie LaRose, Lindsay Walsh, and Autumn Bissonette, for their service over the past couple of years to the entire class of 26, as well as a thank you to former Vice President Camden Kaufman, as he's been involved since freshman year as well. And a shout out and congrats to sitting Vice President and continuing Vice President Michael McCarthy, as well as a congratulations to incoming 2026 class president Timothy Amston. We are very excited to see everything that is going to unfold in the coming year. I hope we can compete with the current seniors. I do want to point out what President Kaufman said during the certification of the election results. The class of 26 will not have any representatives going into the 25-26 term. So please do push that opening out to the entire class of 26 for the fall elections, as well as vacancies within the secretary and treasurer positions of the class executives.
Thank you. Any questions or comments about this?
Can you touch on the process of how the council's?
Yeah, it's, so the class councils for their executive positions, we amended their constitution last term when I was legislative chair, because before they went vacant, they couldn't fill it until the election. And so that would essentially leave them defunct if they lost the president and treasurer until the Senate held an election, which was not a good thing. So at any point when there are vacancies, the president of the council will put forward a nomination or the highest ranking board member of the council. If there's all vacancies and there's only members, the members can put forward a nomination. Any member of council can essentially do it. And if the council approves and the person accepts that nomination, they become the sitting class officer. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we will move on. Senator Kilday and Raymond, the floor is yours.
Okay, so for the class of 2027 as reps, our main contact was Emily Day, who is our class council president, as well as the other members and executive board members of class council. Main things For this year, as far as fundraisers, we sold merch at the beginning of the year, or class council sold merch. And there was a Chipotle and hot table fundraiser. All of that money gets set aside for the class of 2027's senior week and other financial needs in a couple of years. Our other major thing was voting in the second senator for this constituency, which was a new protocol that was approved by class council and then student senate. And we had 3 major events. There was a fall event, and our class weekend was in the spring. There was bingo and boba and a movie night. All of these had raffles. Our spring events were more successful than our fall event, but that was also due to an increase in class council memberships, which was one of our main goals for this year. We do have one more event coming up on the 17th from 8 to 10 p.m. Long games and Sundays. Please attend. You get to make your own ice cream sundae. As far as looking into next year, going into junior year, there will be more events, more things that class council can do, that our class is capable to do to fundraise and prepare for senior year, because that is really the end all be all. So I'm looking forward to serving that term as well.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we will move on. Class of 2028, for Senator Cup.
Okay, so our most frequent contact were the resident advisors of the quad because they were able to provide insight into what was happening with the first years. The projects we worked on weren't anything really big, but we did discuss vandalism in the quad with public safety and the resident advisors, particularly in the Franklin and Berkshire halls, and the necessary action to be taken for the safety of all residents. The fixing and maintenance of the heaters in the quad was also discussed and fixed through HVAC and negotiations with the resident advisors. Our most frequent meetings were those with resident advisors, again, as it relates to insight on what the first years had issues with. For concerns and support needed, there was a lack of feedback from the first years, and this could be rectified through permanent feedback stations or suggestion boxes within the quads. We hope to work with campus relations to do that. Initiatives to continue or begin next semester is fundraising and efforts to revamp the quad teaching areas and facilitate a more collaborative environment for incoming first years. Increased collaboration with the 2028 class and fundraising or community events. Suggestion boxes within the quad, which I just described. Increased community events such as parties and group activities to build rapport among the class and the other classes as well. Class meetings outside of hall council and class council to be held to facilitate input from the class of 2028 as a whole, without extra commitment from students who don't necessarily want to be a part of those councils. And for our constituency kudos, we would like to recognize the resident advisors within the quad for their consistent efforts in guiding the class's first years, the coordinators of First Year Focus for their efforts in educating our class and skills outside of the classroom, the peer advisors assigned to the first year classes for their understanding and guiding their students through the essential academic tasks of the year, such as class scheduling and midterm checkups, the cleaning staff of the halls within the quad, especially in light of the vandalism and defamation of property that occurred during the semester. And finally, the performance of the athletes from the class of 2028 on both a regional and national stage.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay. Seeing none, we will move to the resident representatives.
So, for the main people we work with would be Amanda Mills, Director of Res Life, and the RDs overall, but mainly Katie Burnham and Zara Thompson. The main projects we worked on were just spreading awareness about topics, every issue with heating in the freshman dorms that came up earlier in the year, mold discussions, bringing forth the idea of water bottle fillers in dorms and stressing the importance of that, and washing and dryers and how frequently they broke down, spread awareness on that. Those are our biggest projects that we mainly worked on. Before meetings attended, we had a few throughout the year with the RDs mainly to get their take on the issues. And then for initiatives that we're still working on is trying to get more water bottle fillers and everything within all of the dorms and trying to get more washers and dryers or have them be more steady, not breaking down than they did at the start of the year.
Okay, some process we learned is, meet with the RDs as much as possible to create a proper relationship that allows everything to progress faster. It's very helpful to meet with the RDs as well as the RAs, just so we can see what they think, as well as meeting with the residents on campus to discuss any problems. Some constituency kudos, we like to thank the Office of Residence Life for their close communication with us and working hard to solve any problems we had or residents had and talking with about issues that we had. Some club and organizations that are very important for the resident representatives to be involved in the future is Hall Council, as a lot of Hall Councils have really taken off this year, thanks to the RAs and RDs.
Thank you. Is there any representatives that cannot stay late but still need to go? Okay, we are going to let the College of Pharmacy go first.
Thank you so much. So first I'd like to say that Secretary Watson and I were the first meeting in Western history to hold the College of Pharmacy and Health Science representative seat on the Student Senate, which has been an incredible honor. My main contacts have been Dr. Kirchner, Dr. Key, and I spoke a little bit with Dean Burton, and then Dean Pizzuto visited us a couple of weeks ago. The major discussions this constituency focused on was the involvement of students who are still undergraduates in terms of credits, but were enrolled in a grad program, which was a former blind spot. I think we answered a lot of questions as to whether those students could be involved or not. And we started a conversation around undergraduate research, and I have seen a lot of further involvement in research since that conversation was brought up. In the meetings, we had some, due to the request of this constituency, a College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences Student Advisory Council was formed by Dean Burton and Pizzuto, and this meets monthly, and it's mostly to determine graduates' level concerns, but some undergraduate issues are brought up there as well. Concerns, the deans, since they've never worked with a College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences representative before, they didn't understand the role and the connection, and it was hard to get issues brought to me because they figured that they shouldn't go through Student Senate at all, they should just go straight to them. So in terms of initiatives, I would like to move into making a better relationship with the admins and how Student Senate can support their programs and they can support us back. And other initiatives, just keep looking into some of the requests I've had this year, which is to put caffeinated beverages like coffee and energy drinks in CSP. That is incredibly popular. And I would like to get an email chain that connects me and the next College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences representative to the entire constituency, because it is very underrepresented. And having some sort of suggestion box that's specifically for neuroscience and pharmacy students to directly voice their concerns would be what we would looking into next year.
Thank you. Are there any additional questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, is there any other representatives? Yes. Or the floor is yours for the, is it roller?
Yeah.
Yes, so the floor is yours.
Okay, so for College of Engineering, our frequent contacts were Dean Graviak, who we met with monthly, Dean Shiragi, who we met with a few times, and the College of Engineering Student Advisory Board.
Some major projects that were discussed were the College of Engineering received a generous grant of $850,000 in commercially directed spending through Congressman Richard Neal to be put forth the establishment of the Center for Advanced Manufacturing Systems, and the location of which had been determined to most likely be in the building behind the lab room. The College of Engineering posted Ava and Predator to complete the accreditation process for the newest program in construction management. and the Doctor of Engineering and Industrial Engineering has been finalized, and the Doctor of Electrical Engineering is in the process of being finalized. So a couple of events on College of Engineering are, College of Engineering is notified that all 6 programs were either accredited. Chemical engineering started offering the concentration in aeronautical engineering. Civil engineering has been in the process of adding new concentrations of architectural engineering, and students will hopefully be able to declare this in their concentration of all 2025, which seems to be right now. College of Engineering hosted an academic preview day with prospective engineering students on February 17th, which approximately 70 students registered for. And we won Club of the Month in November. And then our goals for next year were to discuss possibly removing the cultures to UR requirement for current college of engineering students. I know it has been brought up in the past, or at least broadening the accepted courses. Potentially discussing better ways to spread information regarding college of engineering events, and then becoming more in touch with club presidents and their boards.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All right, seeing none, is there any other ones that need to go now? Business.
All right, so our main points of contact in the College of Business were Dean Walker. We also were in contact with all the club presidents in the College of Business as well as their board members as well. We were also in contact with Melissa Knott, who is the director of the Faculty Senate, as well as Professors Karen Grealis and Paul Palalonis. Some general business updates that happened throughout the term. In September, the College of Business hosted their Meet the Firms night, where students have presented their resumes to firms and learn how to start professional conversations with business professionals. The event had a great turnout, and firms were really impressed by the WME business students, so we're hoping to continue that next year. In December, the College of Business hosted their annual bowling night, also to connect with firms. This event was a huge success, and they're looking forward to the event again next year. And in April, the College of Business is planning on hosting their annual golf tournament on April 25th. This event will be an all-day affair where students can spend the day golfing with business professionals. Honestly, the only major concern that we had in the College of Business were the lack of classes. Basically, students were struggling a lot during the year when registering for classes because of the lack of sections. It's an issue that has been brought up to Faculty Senate and the College of Business faculty as well, so that way we can see how we can improve this going forward.
So going to the College of Business Club update, here's a little club recap. The Marketing Association had a lot of events, especially recently. They had a Canva workshop, and they had a LinkedIn event and a headshot, or like a LinkedIn photo shoot headshot event. Management Association, they had a partnership with Maria and the Career Center, so like planning events and stuff like that. In October, they hosted an event with Apple Cider Drinking Donuts in a common hour in Mexico. There were professors there, just build engagement. Accounting Association, they had their ceremony to induct students into the Beta Alpha Psi. This is an honor society dedicated to being accounting and finance students. The Investment Club, along with the Accounting Association, is planning on scheduling their annual New York City trip for the end of the semester. So students will spend a day at a firm and we'll walk through what they've been working there.
And then lastly, our constituency kudos. Throughout the term, we wanted to recognize Tara Grealis as well as the Marketing Association. Tara Grealis is truly a mentor for plenty of students on the campus. She basically mentored a group of students while competing in the CFA challenge and led them to almost win the competition. She put on most of the College of Business events that happened throughout the year. She's also the faculty advisor for the Accounting Association, the Investment Club, as well as the new Financial Literacy Club. Also, the Marketing Association was a club we heard from the most this term. They were always in communication with us, and they provided us with many updates on their events, so we want to congratulate them.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, arts and science.
All right, I'll try to keep this short. Our most frequent contacts have been Dean Davis and his secretary, Jerry Gillespie. They've been very helpful in an open line of communication. Something we harped on a lot this year was the RXR virtual reality labs, as it became a main focus from the College of Arts and Sciences, changing the way students and faculty interact with new technology. Each year, the College of Arts and Sciences takes part in the WNE Games fundraising event. This year, the event was made more successful thanks to the generous sponsorship of 2 alumni. The college has also hosted the Spring Research Event, which is this upcoming on April 25th. This event encourages students to present a wide range of work, including artwork, short stories, and scientific research. There's a new crocheting class, which is planned to launch in the fall of 2025, and a new art class as well. So GURs has been a big topic this year, and since about 90% of the GURs courses fall under art constituency, the goal is to make them more flexible for students. One of the biggest challenges was finding a balance between both consistency and individuality in these required courses. Writing intensive courses have also been discussed because a lot of majors within the College of Arts and Sciences, most of their classes are writing intensives, but they also still have to take another writing intensive course. So that's just been something that's been talked about. Some concerns. Student Senate feedback will be required upcoming for this new class, the crocheting class, just to see what kind of, like how people are interested, how big the class is, if there needs to be multiple. Dean Davis, something that he's been talking about is how there's a disconnect between student clubs and the administration. I think this difficulty arises because of how expansive the College of Arts and Sciences really is. Something that's also been harped on about is the limited career opportunities available to them. People in College of Arts and Sciences, especially health sciences, neuroscience, chemistry, and humanities. At the recent career fairs, they tend to heavily focus on business, technology, and engineering fields, leaving students from other disciplines with fewer relevant options. For our constituency, kudos. We do want to thank Dean Davis for his important role that he played in the creation, establishment of the college's new VR and XR labs. Professor Robert Waltz for his above and beyond effort to helping students gain more skills and provide a productive learning experience. Dr. Jason Seacat, Associate Dean of Outreach and Engagement, and huge thank you for taking the time to teach psychology students how to use the VR and XR labs. Dean Bevacqua, the college representatives would like to extend their sincerest gratitude for positive impact in among students. I talked a lot about the clubs, but the Neuroscience Club on Monday, March 17th, the Neuroscience Club hosted guest speaker Dr. Ingu Kumawalanche, Assistant Professor of Pharmacology. Criminal Justice Association hosted registration time where they helped underclassmen register. And yeah, that's about it.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, Atwater.
Okay, we slowly met with each other on here because as you know about being attentive on campus and meeting people. But we did meet with the class council, the hall council, also the housekeeping staff of all the buildings, because our primary focus was to have and promote more hygienic and clean environment everywhere. We were also much in contact with the facilities because we were like putting in work orders for everywhere that we required. The errors were noted, and yeah.
We just had one major concern was that there was like a lot of issues on campus, but it was hard for us to figure out because we can't be everywhere. So we wanted to have like more student involvement with that bar because we covered like a wide range of areas and topics, and we weren't able to like really get out there and find issues and like bring concerns back to campus.
Yeah, I think we also had a lot of going back and forth with the freshman boys and freshman students because like since they're new and the transition is a little more difficult, they were like having a hard time like maintaining a clean environment, and like even right now we're going back and forth with Wyndham there's a major issue going on, so we would like to like have, even some workshops to like enlighten them, and like not, ruin our campus.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, last but not least, athletics, the floor is yours.
Our main contacts were Mark Morrison, Aaron Mark, Jennifer Collins, the director of athletics, and Christopher, I can't remember his last name. He is the lifting coach, and what we really worked on this year was seeing what we needed to finish the varsity weight room, and we updated some stuff in the general weight room, like the Smith machine. We going into the fall of 2025, we are hoping to get an estimate of how much it is going to cost to finish off the varsity weight room and see if we can get that finished in the summer. If not, it'll be a winter project in 2025. And we also worked with Mark on we worked with the food services as well as getting more options for the athletes, like getting the dining hall open Saturday earlier for people that had games at like 10 a.m. and that's when the dining hall would be opening. So we got them to look at the schedule of the athletes that are like happening during season. So like he based it, when it was fall season, he based it off fall and then winter and so forth, like that, which worked very well. And other than that, really don't have.
Great. Final rollover report. This time I make the motion to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. This meeting sucks every year.
I don't think we need quorum. President Kaufman.
We do for a report meeting.